Death Stranding can be considered Kojima's Mona Lisa, a combination of his Japanese heritage, his life experiences, and his vision for what the world should strive to be. The work on Death Stranding began in the July of 2015, after the closing of his subsidiary Kojima Productions as a result of a lengthy corporate conflict, which saw Kojima and his team leave Konami due to numerous internal disputes and creative differences, and therefore shortly followed Kojima opening Kojima Productions as its own independent studio in December of the same year. The game was initially teased at Sony's conference at E3 in 2016, which had heavily featured music from the band Low Roar and featured Norman Reedus. This would be the second collaboration between Reedus and Kojima, following the cancellation of Silent Hills. The full production of Death Stranding began in 2017 after Kojima had discovered the Decima engine offered to him by Guerrilla Games. What began as a friendly gesture soon developed into an intense collaboration between the two studios, with the studio realizing that the engine needed to be heavily modified to accommodate Death Stranding, with it eventually leading to a Kojima satellite team being installed in Guerrilla Games. The name Decima was as a nod to the Japanese island of Dejima and its history of being a Dutch trading port, symbolizing the unity between the Japanese Kojima team and the Dutch Guerrilla Games team. By 2018, Kojima had gathered an all-star cast to be in his latest project, with voice actors such as Troy Baker and Hollywood stars, including Norman Reedus, Leah Seydoux, Mads Mikkelsen, with many others joining along the way. Kojima even got Guillermo del Toro, a renowned director, to play one of the main characters, Deadman. Following a trailer realized in May 2019, Kojima released an accompanying blog post explaining the core themes of the game. He said as follows: "The true importance of forging connections with others, referring to the player's goal of reconnecting an isolated and fractured society, to bridge its divides and to create new bonds or strands with other players around the globe," which was a prelude to the reasoning and reason why Kojima had created the game and the message behind it. Kojima has stated to be inspired by many things when it came to creating Death Stranding, with him citing his upbringing in Japan to be one of his biggest inspirations, with certain themes and elements of the story being influenced by Kojima's childhood and the deaths of his parents. This may be why Kojima had revealed to a reporter that he related to the loneliness of taxi drivers Travis Bickle, but not his violence. It's interesting to hear, then, that Kojima's intent is for players to find connection and relief through the experience. The connection aspect has a literal element. You're linked online with players you don't see, who leave you signs, bridges, or ladders to help you on your way, as well as leaving your own signs to encourage others. For the player character, Kojima was inspired by the real-life porters, the boka, a profession in Japan which transports supplies to remote mountain guesthouses. A lot like the game's main character, Sam Porter Bridges. This would keep in line with Kojima's message of connecting with others through delivering packages and even being able to deliver lost packages dropped by other players for more likes, reinforcing the idea of connection. Kojima was similarly inspired by the literature of Kobo Abe. It was revealed in a Wired article that Kojima revealed a quote from Japanese author and playwright Kobo Abe, specifically a short story that compares mankind's use of sticks, our first weapons, to ropes, which have the potential to bind things closer together, which can explain why the player character is equipped with an in-game strand, symbolizing the player character tying and connecting the world back together, with the name of the game having a double meaning being Death Stranding, showing the separation that had occurred due to in-game events. This meaning can be mirrored in the real world, with epidemics such as COVID-19 stranding people alone due to lockdowns and isolation, with the Death Stranding resembling the same thing, as people are forced to hide away in isolation, whether it be their bunkers or cities. Kojima's reference to the work of Kobo Abe most likely referred to The Man Who Turned Into a Stick. It is the first of 3 plays written between 1957 and 1969, meant to symbolize the different stages of life, usually shown together. The first, representing birth, is the suitcase. The second, the cliff of time, represents life itself, or The Process, and the third, The Man Who Turned Into a Stick, is Death. Kojima was also greatly inspired by another of Kobo Abe's novels, Rope, which he had read during his teenage years. Abe's work greatly affected the world of Death Stranding, with the basis of his novels forming the integral messaging behind Death Stranding, such as the concepts of the stick and rock. Kojima also found the game's music by chance. Kojima had discovered the band Low Roar whilst at a CD shop in Reykjavik. Kojima chose their music as he had found it sensual and unique, which Kojima thought would fit the unique and new world of Death Stranding. The game's announcement at E3 2016 was met with a positive reception. In 2017, Death Stranding was nominated by Golden Joystick Awards in the category Most Wanted Game, whilst in June 2018, during the days following the E3 press conferences, Death Stranding reached the top 10 in the most watched video game trailers on YouTube, with more than 4.5 million views. Upon release, Death Stranding received generally favorable reviews, according to review aggregator Metacritic. Publications noted a range of reactions from reviewers across the board, with the game being praised for its unique concepts, lasting appeal, graphics, voice acting, and soundtrack, but also being considered to be bloated, frustrating, and slow-paced. Yet it is the fourth Kojima-directed game, and the 26th overall, to be awarded a perfect 40 out of 40 score by Japanese video game magazine Famitsu. Many had even started considering the game as a walking simulator, as well as the game being comprised entirely of fetch quests, with the game being subject to review bombing on Metacritic. As in December 2019, the website removed over 6,000 negative user reviews to prevent potential score manipulation, judging them to be suspicious. Sales for the game were impressive, with it outselling Call of Duty, Modern Warfare in the UK, and being the most sold game in Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea, and had topped an active 3 million users on the PlayStation Network. Safe to say, Kojima's first venture as a solo developer had paid off, and many crowing Death Stranding as Kojima's Mona Lisa, and a subsequent sequel being announced in December 2022.